I would just say a
Yep.
deeper connection is what
Yeah.
he sees that she has the potential for.
Yeah.
And now he wants that, and he's not going to get it with her because she already thinks she has it with Rick.
Right.
Welcome to the Mindfully Masculine podcast. This is Charles, and you are listening to our final episode in our series exploring the White Lotus Season 3 through the lens of masculinity, identity, and emotional truth. Quick note before we start, you might hear some audio hiccups or just bad audio, mostly my microphone. Thanks for hanging in there. The good news is we've got it resolved, and the better news is I had to buy some new gadgets to make it better. So win-win. As always, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the finale. So if you haven't finished the season, you might want to come back later. And also, we're going to talk about themes of murder and suicide and murder-suicide. So if that feels a little too heavy to listen to right now, or your kid's in the car, relax, come back later, and let's get into it. About it.
I loved it. I thought it was an amazing way to wrap it up.
How well done it was, but it made me
Angry.
so angry at so many people.
Oh, do tell. Who made you the angriest? I should ask. Let's start off.
Boy, it's a tough call between Rick and Timothy. I really hated both of them for what they did in this episode.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess we'll go down the list and start with the Ratliff family first.
Yeah.
And then we'll Rick and Gaitok at the end. So yeah, I mean, we hit on some of it. Once Timothy started having the murder suicide fantasies, I was pretty angry at him. And then as he
Question.
Yeah.
Were you more angry once he had the murder part of that? Was the suicide just okay? Or did it make you angrier to think that he's now going to take his family out too?
Oh, no, definitely the murder part of it. Suicide.
Right.
Look, I mean, suicide is certainly a bad thing that I hope doesn't happen to people. But yeah, listen, if somebody decides I don't have a way out and they want to do that, I'm not one of these people that looks down on them or gets angry at them or how dare they, that's selfish. I don't buy into any of that bullshit when it comes to suicide. People commit suicide because they feel like they have no other option and they're compelled to do it. And so me getting angry about that does not make the situation that led to it any better or any different. So yeah, no, if he wanted to, kill himself, I think, yes, there would be negative consequences on his family that he probably wouldn't be considering if he killed himself. But look, when you're in crisis, by definition, your thoughts and your feelings are very self-centered because you feel like you're in the middle of something that's worse than dying.
Yeah.
And so being able, like having the capability to consider how your actions are going to affect other people just doesn't really factor in when you think things are that bad. So anyway, I get that. But no, what makes me angry is him defaulting to, I am going to decide that my family would be better off dead than alive, and so I'm going to make that choice for them. That's the part that gets me furious.
Little arrogant, little narcissist, little arrogant, little narcissistic.
Yeah,
right? If you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, is there a more narcissistic act than
oh my God,
deciding that
I know you can't handle this?
Holy cow, I'm going to kill you so you don't have to. I mean, that really, that's very pathological. So, and even when his daughter was talking about her decision to not stay at the dormitory or
the meditation center.
Yeah. The bottom line is, when you really think about it, there's almost no scenario where her life in North Carolina is even going to be as bad as living in the meditation center.
Oh, yeah.
Like, whatever they think their rock bottom is in North Carolina after dad's arrested and in minimum security, like what they think is poor and having nothing, compare you what the world views as being poor and having nothing, it's not even the same.
Right.
So yeah, for them, it's maybe living in a shitty 3-bedroom apartment in a bad neighborhood in Raleigh or Durham or something like that. Like that's what they would consider having nothing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the government is not literally going to take away every possession that the family has ever owned. It's not going to be that. It's going to be, they're probably coming out of this with a small 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a lower end subdivision in the same town they live.
And Timothy isn't coming out of prison with a little tear tattooed on the side of his arm, right? Like, yeah, right.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah.
And didn't he say the lawyer's like, oh, like, was it like 13 months or something? Or no, it was like 4.
It's like 6 months.
6 months or something like that, right?
Yeah, in a minimum security prison.
Right. And he was just like, I'd rather die.
Maybe they didn't say minimum security prison.
No,
Maybe I'm in that, but I'm probably right.
Right.
White collar
crime. You're not going to hang out with murderers.
Right. No. Yeah. So,
Right.
and yeah, and the licenses that he could sell or that he could have to sell securities are probably, there's going to be some things that he's not going to be able to do.
Yeah.
But there are probably other things in the financial services space. I mean, is he going to be a felon? Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I mean, I think if you're sentenced to a year or more in prison, you're automatically a felon.
Oh,
Or maybe
didn't know that.
if you're convicted of a felony, it means that you have to do, I don't think that's true that you have to do a year in prison no matter what. I think there's people who get convicted of felonies. So yeah, I mean, shit, the president of the United States, right? I mean, he was convicted of 34 or 36 felonies in New York and he's not getting sentenced at all. So yeah, there's nothing that says if you're a felon, you have to go to jail, or if you go to jail, you have to be a felon. So yeah, he could probably plead his way out of this. I mean, sticking around in Thailand for the full week, even though he knew this was going on, probably isn't going to help his case. So it's probably not going to destroy his case either. So I don't know what his life looks like after this, but it's certainly not living the life of a poor person in Asia or Africa. It's living the life of a poor person in America, which obviously, with considering other factors might not be great, but it's not living the life of a poor person in Asia or Africa. It's just not. So yeah, I think,
as Piper found out when she stayed,
correct,
didn't have organic vegetables.
Yeah, and it's easy to cut your eyes at her, but the part of, and I did, the reason I rolled my eyes at her was not because she tried this experience out and she was like, this is not for me. Because I've tried out a lot of experiences where I'm like, if this is not for me, I'm giving up. But I did not make the eye rolly part with her is she made her identity kind of, I'm better than this comfortable lifestyle that I'm in. I have my sights set on higher things. And then when she tried it, she was like, oh, I can't do it. So it's really how you go into the experience that gets people to be like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. It's not the fact that,
hey, I'm open to this. It's
right. It's like the fact that I'm open to this makes me better than you. Is that was the vibe she put off for the whole season.
Absolutely.
And I can understand, thinking that way.
Until you actually do it.
Right. But then you're confronted with the reality of what it is you're signing up for. And you're like, oh no, this is not what. And I think I like that she had a bit of, I feel guilty now because I thought that I was up for this and now that I'm not. Like that made her human. But it was.
And the guilt that she felt like for all the things that they have. Right.
Yes.
And right. So absolutely.
But the mother's reaction to that was,
she was hysterical.
Yeah. Like
so funny. Just the
when I watched it the first time, I thought she might say something like, yes, we're lucky. We have more than kings and queens. And that's all true. Like somebody who's well off in America has a life better, like it would be unrecognizable to the King of England 100 years ago.
100%.
And even a poor person in America has access to stuff that the King of England 100 years ago would be like, oh,
a 3-bedroom apartment in Raleigh. Absolutely.
Yes. You probably lived in a 3-bedroom apartment in Raleigh.
Two bedroom. By the way. So
that's the kind you lived the kind of life that Timothy Ratliff would kill himself over, Dan.
Hey, I had the air conditioning. I was a happy camper. That's all I needed, honestly. So
I talk about that all the time.
So the mom,
the comfortable mattress, I'm good.
So in that vein, the mom was basically saying, yeah, we got it so good. It would be offensive if we didn't enjoy it. And it was, and then when Piper's breaking down and the mom is coddling her and hugging her or whatever. And she turns to the turns to Timothy and gives him the thumbs up, like, yeah, she realized that she can't go, and so now she's gonna stay home with us.
Yeah, where Timothy's thinking, well, now I guess she's got to die too.
Yep. Exactly, because he was just like, yeah, he was really trying. He was like, hey, shows that we can live without all this stuff. And the mom turns ghost white, like, what are you saying, right? And then that's when the daughter breaks down, and then they show Timothy's face, and he's just like, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Even my daughter, who the one I thought,
yeah, she's better off dead too.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I hoped at the bottom the mother might go to, the least we could do is be grateful. Or I thought she'd say something about gratitude, not just basically, we got to have fun. I mean, there's a big difference.
Better enjoy it.
Enjoying something and being grateful for something.
But that was perfect for that character.
Yeah.
It was absolutely hysterical.
Yeah. So he changes his mind on the murder-suicide plot at the last possible moment. I mean, they're already drinking the poison that he believes is going to kill all of them.
Right. So yeah, to back up, right, with he talks to Pam, and Pam's like, oh yeah, remember these fruits have poison the seeds. They call it a suicide tree because people often grind up the seeds and drink it or eat it to kill themselves. And then so his mind starts going, oh, all right,
anymore. So I need something else. And there was so much foreshadowing this night. It was basically 5 shadowing. I mean, it was really a little bit was over the top.
So it's interesting. Yeah. So he sits down with Lockie, and he comes back, and he's just like, hey, Locke. He's like, could you live without any money? And he goes, I mean, no money, like no house, nothing. And Lockie's like, yeah, I think I could. And then it was literally the thing. And then
that's what I hated. Oh, you made the right answer, so you get to live. Right. That was part of what made me angry.
Yeah. Right. And he was just like, okay. And so you're going to live. And when he talks about going back after dinner to make pina coladas back in the bungalow with the family, Lockie asks him like, oh, I've never had a pina colada. And he's like, well, you're not going to have one now. You're having a Coke.
You're not 21.
You're not 21. And it was just like his way of saving him.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was also, I mean,
perfectly ironic.
Yes. And there was some controversy online, the idea of who would find a blender with remnants of a protein shake and then just add more and make a new protein shake.
I agree. Right.
That was gross.
Well, maybe an 18-year-old kid, because I've done stupid shit at 18 too, like not thinking about and maybe here's the other thing too here's the other thing.
Yeah, maybe.
So here's the other thing. Dad was denying. Lockie really wanted to have that pina colada. He never had one. He felt excluded. He didn't, because there was like alcohol in it or whatever. So maybe he was thinking, oh, there's a little bit of that pina colada left in there. I'll get a little taste of it in my protein shake.
With the coconut milk has turned, right? I mean, he was there for the dramatic slapping of the glass away. So
good point.
It's like not only is it pina colada mix from last night,
but it's crappy coconut
milk. Yeah, it is rancid or something
good
like
point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, listen, when I was 18, I would never have found the remnants of a night old.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I thought, well, maybe he thought Saxon made a protein shake that morning and just didn't wash the blender.
Oh,
but even that's still gross.
Well, they did have that scene where Saxon basically is like, oh, Lockie.
Yeah, if you make someone else drink it, like, make your own. Nobody's gonna make you a man.
Nobody's gonna make you a man. And the stuff's on the counter.
Right. But that was the day before.
Oh, that was the day before.
The night.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
I missed that timing. Okay.
So yeah, maybe he didn't think, oh, that's the leftover pina coladas. Maybe he thought Saxon made a protein shake and he didn't clean the blender. Still gross. I still wouldn't do it. If I find a blender with anything in it,
yeah,
I'm washing it out before I make my thing. Even when I was 18, I would not drink out of a dirty blender.
So here's the thing.
We should definitely spend 40 or 50 minutes on this.
Absolutely, we should. No, I probably would have at 18. If I was in my if I knew it was only my family that was there, that was like making food and stuff like that. Listen, I probably still would have washed it out. But to me, it's a little bit more of a viable scenario for him to have not washed it out if he knew it was only his family, and he kind of got intimate with other fluids from his brother. So why stop? This is mild compared to the usual fluid that he's used to.
Well, I wouldn't push back on that because he's not even thinking he's drinking after his brother. He's thinking his brother
Right.
stuff in there and then poured it into the glass and then just left some of this.
Yeah.
So gross. I would not find the remnants of a protein shake and add to it. But anyway, I didn't really have. I did feel like letting him live. It made sense because he was having a very small weakened dose of whatever the poison plant was, and generally speaking, there's not a ton of naturally occurring plants that are poisonous that will actually kill you. For the most part, it's you get really sick and then you still survive unless you really concentrate up the stuff. So it made sense that he would get sick and then be okay. But nothing against Lachlan, but part of me almost wanted the dad to have to live with killing his son over when he didn't want to. Part of me thought that would serve him right for him to, the one person he wanted to save, he is the one that he ended up killing.
Well, so in all fairness, I did feel like the dad did take away a lesson that maybe money isn't everything.
Yeah, it still felt a little unearned to me. Like he didn't, like for even thinking about and starting to implement the process of murdering his family, that he didn't suffer enough, in my opinion. Yeah. Like I wanted to see Dad. And again, I'm not nothing against Lachlan. I'm okay with him surviving. I'm glad he survived as a fictional character. But it would have been something to make the dad pay a little bit for what he was thinking. Right. I mean, losing all this stuff's not enough. I wanted to suffer for thinking about killing his family. Yeah. And so I didn't quite get that, and that's one of the things that looked me.
I like teaching lessons too.
I know you do.
That's a bit rough, but yeah, I get it.
All right, let's talk about the older son. We've kind of covered the younger one pretty much in detail. The older one, basically he found out that his...
Did he go to Duke?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell. I mean,
he hadn't mentioned it. I think that he got a little bit of a lesson himself in, okay, what's the long-term result of playing this character? Like playing the character he's playing, and I'm not talking about the actor, I'm talking about Saxon. They're playing this alpha male finance bro. It will probably work for him to get all the things he kind of wants, but not the things he really wants or the things he really needs from other people. So he'll get some of the trappings of being a finance bro. But in this episode, a girl like Chelsea, or Chelsea specifically, he kind of realized, oh, this act is not going to do anything to get someone who is good enough to not want me.
Yeah. It's very symbolic when he's talking to Chelsea sitting there as he tries to impress her by reading that meditation book or the book. It wasn't a meditation, but it was one of the books that and she's like, oh, you got to read a lot more. She's amazing. And then she talks about how they might be one of the author's philosophies is that we're all in different groups, spiritual groups, and we might be in the same group and not even realize it. And just as he starts to really, I think, feel an attraction for her and connect to her, she sees Rick on the beach, who finally returns from partying with Frank and almost killing the guy, and she runs and takes off, and then you could just see it in Saxon's face, kind of like, oh, I'm like, I didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah, that image of him went fairly viral. Because he looked crushed when she got up and ran to Rick, and
like you said, that's something maybe he wants now,
right?
That like unconditional.
Well, we've already established that there's no such thing as that, Dan.
Or the appearance of that unconditional.
I would just say a deeper connection is what he sees that she has the potential for. Yeah. And now he wants that, and he's not going to get it with her because she already thinks she has it with Rick.
Right.
It did remind me. It is very nice when a girl runs up to hug you.
It was an amazing. Yes, it's such a good feeling. It's to me, it's like. Yes, I agree. There's no such thing as unconditional love, but her behavior throughout the series, I feel like, was very close to, oh my God, I can't believe you're putting up with this crap from this asshole Rick, right. And you're still loving him more and more and more. To me, that's about as close as you can get to unconditional love.
Yeah, but keep talking about it that way. It makes it like unconditional love is the perfect thing that we should all shoot for, and she got close to it.
No.
Unconditional love,
I'm not saying it's perfect.
I think, doesn't exist, is not the good.
No.
For love that seems like unconditional love is not what we want. What we want is to understand exactly what we're bringing and what we're expecting.
Absolutely. And look,
And I would say, yes, she was attracted to Rick and so willing to put up with so much, probably out of her lack of health, not because of her profound mental health. Like a healthy person would not be in that relationship with Rick, right up with his bullshit.
And I'm not saying that's the ideal. What I'm saying is it's a quick moment of a dopamine fix of joy for Rick when he sees somebody coming up to him.
Oh yeah,
running across the beach and going, oh my God.
Yeah, throwing herself into his arms.
I'm not saying that's the ideal, right? But we all enjoy our little dopamine fixes of everything. Why is it
Having a girl run up to you and it's what he's talking about. One of those.
100%.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Saxon, I mean, he may be more able to roll with the situation that his dad has brought on the family. No, he's had this experience with Chelsea. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
We'll probably never know. I don't think Mike White's going to revisit any of the rat lips. He might, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
This was a different season. I mean,
Listen,
it kind of clicked with people.
I'm so hopeful for the idea of what the mom was such a character for me. So funny with like her out of her mind, like arrogance and living in a different world, which is so funny to me. And some of the things that she said, I would love to see her in that with that mindset in a 3-bedroom apartment in Raleigh, or working at the next White Lotus hotel, right? As like a front desk person or something, or the help or whatever, a maid or something. Oh my God, that would be hysterical.
I don't feel like that's too
much. Yeah, the maid would be a little too much.
And yeah, it would be a little kitschy. I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think. I rather would have the unanswered questions. Like I don't want to find Tony Soprano when they painted to black.
Yeah,
I'd rather not know. I'd rather make it up in my own mind.
I disagree with the Soprano thing. I hated that ending.
You did, really?
Hated it. So many I feel like
I loved it.
I felt like it was a cop out. Like you just did not, or the writers did not want to put some juice into this and at least do a little bit of additional tie-ups.
See, I appreciate the ambiguous endings. Like,
I think you can make it ambiguous, but just.
Did you like the ending to Inception where it pulls away on the top spinning and it doesn't show the top all over, but it shows a wobble a little bit, so we don't know if he's really in a dream or if he's in the real world? Or did you not even know that was what was going on?
I didn't even know what was going on. Well, so I'll be honest with you. I don't remember Inception.
Oh, it's worth a rewatch. I watched it not too long ago, and it's still one of the best movies ever made.
All right, I'll add that to my list because I don't remember that scene. So
the very last scene of the movie is before he walks out to meet his kids. He spins the top.
Oh,
and
okay,
and we kind of see him meeting the kids, but then it focuses on the top, and the top is still spinning. There's a little bit of a wobble, but it doesn't fall over.
Interesting.
So, at least the question of, is he in the real world yet, or is he still in a dream?
That's okay. The Soprano thing, I think, was just a cop. I think that was just
interesting. See, I thought, did you like the way Lost ended?
Yes.
See, I thought they answered too many questions on Lost. I thought they should have left more stuff ambiguous. I thought they tied up everything a little too neatly, in my opinion.
I'd rather go that direction than.
Yeah, not me. I like it the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Rick. So Rick, I guess, stays up all night with his friend in that crazy party, just kind of watching him, and then decides, okay, I gotta go. And typical Franco's typical drunk guy move of, you can't leave. If you leave, then my party's over. So you got to stay here. It's like, I
don't know anybody like that.
I hate people like that. That's the worst.
I think my group of friends back in the day, we definitely helped promote the what they call the Irish exit.
Yes,
right, where we just leave, you don't say anything to anybody.
It's our friend Richard's the master of. He's really good at the Irish exit.
I mean,
just walk out.
It's so many people would do it because we give so much shit to anybody.
I think he introduced me to the term Irish exit. I don't think I heard it until Richard.
Yeah, I don't even know the history. I know the term.
Yeah.
How is that? Why is it an Irish exit?
I don't know, but it's great. I like engaging in it myself.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't. Oh, come on, man. No. When I want to leave, I leave. So anyway, he leaves. He goes back to the resort. He meets his girlfriend on the beach. tells her that he got the monkey off his back, which was, again, the level of foreshadowing there. It's like, whenever people with broken brains come up with solutions, you've always got to remember the same brain that got you into trouble is the brain that is giving you the idea for how to get out. And that's all I could think about with Rick, was he's got all these plans for how he's going to solve his own problem. But the problem only exists in his head, and using that head to come up with the way to get out of the problem, to solve the problem. So finding this guy and engaging in the whole caper, pretending to be somebody else and lying to the wife and arranging the meeting and then knocking the guy out of his chair and acting like he's gonna.
And if you remember that scene when he was talking to the guy, he talked at him. He didn't ask any questions. He didn't really get any. He dug a little bit about, like,
he thought the guy murdered his father, so he's not
right. But he true. But based on, like, I mean, his mom said something to him. I feel like, I mean, look, if you're willing to, I guess, get into that state of mind and go all the way there or whatever, you're right. You're not open to any new information, and you're not looking for new information. So it makes, I mean, it lines up. I mean, I think they did an amazing job of keeping the characters very much aligned with or consistent throughout the series.
There's one character they did not do that with, and we'll get to that. Okay. But, and part of it is, so Rick, in the last episode, Rick does his confrontation in a suboptimal way, certainly. And then when the guy shows up at the hotel and confronts Rick, he also didn't have to be that much of a prick. He's also cruising for a bruising, because he didn't need to confront Rick that way. It could have been like,
well, remember,
right? That's true. They are father. Yeah, we find out in the end they're father and son.
Right.
And so, this guy could still, we don't know, he could still be a murderer. He could have, the guy Rick thought was his dad.
Absolutely.
It seems like this guy could have.
But ironically, if you hear him, he talks shit about himself. He's just like, your father was no saint. He's just like, you didn't miss out on much, kid.
At least I didn't even think about
yes. Father. But he was basically talking about himself because he's the father. And he's just like, yeah, I mean, I knew your mother.
Yeah, calling her a whore.
And it's like, I knew she was a slut, but I didn't know she was a liar.
Yeah.
And then Rick's like, and he's just like, trust me, kid, your father was no saint. And he's like,
I guess you're right.
And you didn't miss out on much.
Yeah, that didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
No, yeah. You see, yeah.
Yeah, which was huge.
He could have.
Yeah.
If he could have gotten that information to the guy a different way. But he was angry because Rick had alpha dogged him, and he felt bad about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's a little bit of, or a lot of Rick in this old, or the older guys in Rick.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like I said, perfect. I think really well done, really well thought out in terms of the character development there.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, based on the choices that they each made, they both kind of got what was coming to them. I mean, I don't think it was okay for Rick to kill the guy, and I don't think it was the circumstances under which Rick died were not okay either, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, you reap what you sow. I mean, you live a life of violence and alpha dogging and acting that way. And pretty soon you're going to act that way with somebody who's like, I'm not here for this bullshit, and I'm going to snap.
And it just keeps escalating.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point.
I think Rick was mainly focused on the insult to his mother. That was the thing that got him so angry. And then he goes off and, to his credit, seeks a session with the meditation lady, which I think she could have done a little bit better job of reading the room to tell
for sure.
Zion, hey, I gotta, we're gonna be late. I gotta address this.
Good point. And she was basically saying, right before Rick left, was basically begging him for another session and saying, you've really moved me. Right. And so now all of a sudden, he's not so important, even though he's like coming to her in a moment of distress.
Well,
I gotta stick to the schedule.
Where he's the calendar. Walking. Yeah, I feel like, okay, look, this guy's coming to you, begging you for a session to get into some stuff because he's very bothered. And it's like, no, this other guest already has me on it's like, at that point, fuck your job. you're the one person that this guy, you feel like you have a connection to. You're the one person that can probably help him, and you're going to be like, don't want to inconvenience this other employee's son who's getting a free session probably.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's a little, all right. It's a good point. So she basically caused all this.
Yeah, it's all her fault.
All her fault.
I think she had a vibe for what was going on, and Zion was there for a recreational meditation session, not any kind of a crisis. So yeah, and
it was the first session she had with him too.
Correct.
So,
and she could have said, "Hey, as the son of one of my coworkers, this guy's having an issue right now. Can we delay this a little bit?" Apparently, she had the next hour after Zion completely free because that's when she was telling Rick to come back.
Right.
So, hey, would it be too much trouble? If you wouldn't mind, can we just swap?
Yeah.
If that happened, then I'm not saying it's her fault, but no shootout occurs. If that happens. So that was kind of,
or could be fitting for, look, Rick, you've now, your behavior and your actions have led you to also experience a little bit less luck or than an average bear because of your behavior. I mean, I really believe that how you act on a regular basis, it's going to either attract or repel things to you. Yeah. I can say karma is an actual thing, but I'm going to say, I'm going to say you're going to attract better things to you depending on how your attitude is, or worse things to you depending on what your attitude is. I do believe in the law of attraction.
When good things happen and you make bad things happen. I don't think when it comes to random future events.
So you think, so when you make something happen, you think there's no ripple effect. There's no other things that impacts in the world when you make something else happen, good or bad. There's no ripple effect. There's no boomerang that ever comes back that you could possibly interact with.
I mean, based on
like a butterfly effect, right?
Probably.
Do you believe in a butterfly effect?
I believe that free will is a myth, and that everything that was going to happen from the moment of the Big Bang is just going to happen.
Okay.
And that we participate in it, but we don't write the story. The story's already been written. So
it doesn't matter what our actions are. It's predetermined.
It is. I mean, our actions do matter in that, given the ability to make choices. What choices we're going to make has already been decided, but we still make the choices.
Okay. So then really it doesn't matter. Choose.
It does. I mean, I don't think it changes the end result of when entropy claims the last star and the lights of the universe go out, whether we get our meditation session at 1:00 p.m. or 2:00 p.m. is not going to make a difference.
Okay. I mean, maybe. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yes, I do think that. But the choices we make will be determined in part by what we're exposed to. And so, we could spend a long time on this.
Of course. Yeah. Some of the
I think that good people don't get good things because they deserve them, because the universe decides they deserve them, and bad people don't get bad things because the universe decides they deserve bad things.
Okay.
I don't see any kind of math that works out that way. I mean, I think plenty of bad people can do bad things and end up with the very nicest things, and plenty of good people can do good things and end up with the worst things. And I think that happens randomly enough that, a force like God's will or karma or whatever is not something that should ever be planned on or banked on. Like, when things are going bad, you have the attitude of, well, if I just do the right thing long enough, then good things will come my way. I don't think there's really any evidence to that. I think you should do the right thing because it aligns with your values and you believe there's a reason, a completely reason to do that. Mm-hmm. But if I do the right thing long enough, then, my time will come and I'll get the good things I deserve. Or no, you won't. Or you might, but it's not.
It's not related.
It's not.
You're saying it's completely random. You're saying.
I think for the most part, it's random.
Okay.
I mean, but look, there are decisions you make that will affect you, your life, and if you're constantly hanging out in neighborhoods and in places where lots of crime occurs, then there's a higher chance that you will be a victim of crime. And so in that way, yes, what you are putting out there does have an effect on you.
Right.
That's kind of where those concrete terms are where it ends for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can bank on any of that, right? Like, I don't believe that it's a given. It's like a immutable law that you do good things, you do bad things, the reciprocal is going to happen. But I think the odds are more likely that if you're putting good things out there, good things will come back to you. Put bad things out there, bad things will come out there. And so why not play the odds? That's the way I look at it.
I mean, I think if you put good things out there, it's because you're a person who focuses on good things, and focusing on good things will influence your thoughts and your actions so that you make those good things happen. Like if you focus on, I need to save up money for this financial goal, then you will consciously or unconsciously look for opportunities to save money toward that goal. And it might end up happening for you faster than you initially thought that it would happen. Ultimately, that's still because of the actions and the thoughts that you're having.
Yeah.
Not because somebody is pushing things in those directions for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we may be a distinction without a difference.
Yeah. I think we're kind of saying almost the same thing, but yeah.
All right. So anyway, Rick got what was coming to him. I mean, he crafted this terrible outcome for himself and for Chelsea through his action, his inaction, predominantly the inaction, because he was a guy who looked our age or older. So he had a lot of time to deal with this shit. And I've been a guy who has suffered and does suffer consequences for, okay, some negative stuff happened to me and that wasn't my fault, but the daily choice of not doing anything to address how it affected me or how I feel about it, that's causing real world consequences that ripple. And Rick could have decided not to spend his 50 years. He looked like he was about 50, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a little older.
Yeah.
He could have decided to not spend all that time being angry and dwelling on the bad stuff that happened to him and trying to work his way through that with therapy, with support groups, with whatever resources a man of his financial means could have found, but he chose not to do that.
Yeah.
He chose to kind of wallow and enjoy time with his young, hot British girlfriend when he even had the capability to enjoy that time.
Yeah, it didn't seem much of that at all. Right.
So it looked like his primary vocation 24/7 was being miserable about his childhood. And then when she booked meditation sessions for him, he begrudgingly went and participated at a very low level. So yeah, ultimately it was his lack of action that led to this, which was not like making the choice of, hey, being a miserable prick for 50 years isn't working for me. I need to try something else. But he never did that. And then his broken brain came up with this caper of how he could make all his problems go away by yelling at or killing this bad man that did bad things to him 50 years ago. And shocker, it didn't work out. So, all right. So he dies and his girlfriend dies. His girlfriend died because he got in a firefight with her standing a few feet behind him, which again, not a good way to provide for the people you care about, getting into gunfights while they're standing behind you.
Yeah. If you're in gunfights, I mean, do it on your own time.
Yeah. And try to do it.
Don't make it data.
Exactly.
He did he did say, get out of here. But I mean, then he turns right around and so she's not gonna, she wants to see what the hell, she cares about him. She wants to see what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So
he cared more about putting a few rounds into this guy than he did about protecting the woman he supposedly loved, for sure.
Right.
And so, yeah, that is not the version of any kind of masculinity that I like to see. I've got to settle the score at all costs. Meanwhile, that involves a gunfight while my girlfriend's standing over there.
Yeah.
That's what a child playing cowboys and Indians would do, not what a man who cares about his obligations would do.
Yeah.
And so then, yeah, he kills him. He kills the bodyguards. He kills just about everybody, and including his girlfriend. You can certainly chalk that death up to his credit as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets shot in the back by Gaitok, which I also hated that development for Gaitok's character.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole episode was him being not particularly admirable, in my opinion. he figures out who's responsible for the robbery because he saw the two guys at the MMA fight the night before, or Thai boxing, whatever it was. And then he goes to his coworker who knows the guys and brings it up in not a slick way at all. So it was completely transparent what was going on to the coworker. And the coworker is like, if you turn them in, you're killing me, you're killing them, you're killing all of us. And it's like, take fucking accountability. You killed yourselves the day you decided to show up in that shop with a gun. And to be fair, when you bonked me on the head, that's when you decided to kill yourself.
Yep.
So then Gaitok decides, I'm going to quit my job instead of turning them in. I'll tell you, given the circumstance, number one, I wouldn't have given the one guy any clues that I knew who his friends were. I would have gone straight to my boss or the police and been like, hey, good news. I got this robbery solved.
Right.
Here's the guys that did it. Yeah. And that would have been the end of the story. And I would have had there's no talking me out of turning those guys in. Absolutely not. So I didn't like that Gaitok clumsily tried to play detective. I don't like that he initiated the call to his manager and then went back on it because he thought he was being a nice guy.
So question for you.
Yeah.
After his coworker came to him and said, listen, we're going to die. You're going to basically kill us if you turn us in. Do you still turn them in?
Absolutely. Yes, 100%.
So you're okay killing people as long as it's not with a gun.
I did. This is no trolley problem where it's not this. If you do something that either directly leads to a death sentence or in a roundabout way, which that could have been bullshit anyway. The story of if you turn us in, you kill us. Really? Do I? Or is that something that's right? You will not out of trouble. It's not his responsibility. The end fault.
I agree, but
and suffering the consequences of their actions and their choices is not Gaitok's fault.
But remember, he's sending them back to Russia, and like they're having the war with Ukraine, and who knows what kind of policies are going on over there in Russia for people who are leaving the country now, right? So, I mean, I would think it's more likely that they would be somehow killed either from the government or from other people because they get extradited, I guess.
Yeah, they probably conscripted into the war, and then or the prison, or they might be killed. Right. Either way, it's like, you know what? Then too bad.
Yeah, listen, they're not innocent. I get it, dude. Trust me, I get it. There's just interesting thoughts here because he
shot in faces, and then they bonked him on the head to get away. It's like, no, you don't. You're not among the people that I extend charity to at that point. You gotta deal with your actions, and it's not my job to save you from them. It's my job to do my job as a security guard, which is to bring the information of the robbery that happened at my job to the people that need to know it.
Okay. So then your job as a security guard is not to protect the owners of the hotel?
Oh, it certainly is.
Okay. So now that
I thought protecting anyone when he shot unarmed Rick in the back, walking away with his dead girlfriend, who was being protected in that scenario?
Okay. Fair.
Nobody.
Fair.
Murder.
Right. Okay. Even though it was direct command from the person who owned, like the woman who owned the hotel said, kill him. I said, kill him.
I tell you to kill somebody, Dan, just because you
want to work for you. So, I mean, if you were giving me a hefty minimum wage salary, I'm all about it.
No, Gaitok got the character to say no to turn guys in for a crime they committed, but he doesn't have the character to say, I'm not going to shoot a man in the back.
Okay, so what if he didn't shoot to kill and just like shot him in the leg? Would you be okay with that?
No, that's still
not good.
You don't use a gun against somebody as you want to kill them.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah. You don't use a gun to disable somebody.
So it's funny because I was talking to my dad and Bev about this, and they basically were saying, my dad's like, I didn't. Same thing you did. I hated Gaitok, how he changed characters, whatever, and he shouldn't have killed him. And he was okay with him just shooting him in the leg to kind of wound him or whatever, but not actually kill him. So I was just curious if that's
if anything, you run up to Rick and bonk him on the head with the butt of your gun, and then restrain him. But
that's a good point. Yeah, he was.
You don't shoot.
He's carrying.
You don't point and shoot a gun unless you want to kill him.
Right.
Because I'll just shoot him in the leg. Boom, hit his femoral artery. He dies out. He anyway. Right. Or you miss his leg because it's hard to hit. It's hard to shoot somebody in the leg. I mean,
true.
One thing he did right was you go center mass. If you're going to shoot somebody, you aim for the torso. And sure he did. Yeah. I did not like that Gaitok. Again, he was unwilling to turn in people who already committed a crime because of what might happen to them as a consequence. but he's willing to.
Now, here's the thing, though, is Gaitok didn't know that he wasn't armed because he showed up late.
But he's walking away carrying somebody
Yeah, I guess that's the point.
in what looks like a dead or unconscious person in both arms.
Okay.
With his back to him.
Yeah.
And he yelled stop and the guy didn't stop. So yeah, that's when you
got to listen.
You approach cautiously. And then train him, hit him in the head, do something. But yeah. Because your boss tells you to shoot somebody, that doesn't give you license to shoot somebody in the back.
Well, I don't know. What are the laws in Thailand?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
But it doesn't matter. Right. It just gets something that is legal.
Obviously, yeah. No, I get it. 100%.
I did not like...
There are other ways to go about that situation.
And I mean, Rick White did do a pretty good job of setting him up with, thanks to Mook's behavior.
Yeah,
the way
right.
That annoyed me so much.
That was at the beginning, right?
When he's like, he has her out for dinner that night, and she's like, I got to stay home with my mom. Well, what about tomorrow night? I'll think about it.
Right, and that was after he said that he's thinking about quitting his job.
Correct. Yes, I've been in that scenario of basically a girl says, I'm not sure if I want to go out with you or not, and the correct answer is, okay, well, I don't want to put something else on your plate, so I withdraw the offer. If you want to go out with me, you can you contact me and let me know. But I'm not. You have somebody out, they give you, and I'll think about it. My move is immediately withdraw the invitation. Like I don't want to go out with somebody who has to think about it. Mm-hmm. I want to go out with somebody who's excited to go out with me. Yeah. So if I get, I'll think about it. Yeah. Okay, you do that. But
the dynamic was
for mine.
The whole dynamic, the whole show was him.
She had the power, and
he was basically like begging for breadcrumbs.
Correct. And if she's into him now that he's a murderer, then fine, good luck. Let them have each other. If that's what it takes to compromise the most important values you have is what gets you the girl you want, then you deserve each other.
Looking cool driving the owner away, and Mook is in the background all proud and clearly excited by him.
Yeah, I didn't think that felt real. And look, and the other thing is, I mean, just based on stuff we've talked about before on the show, if you get the girl by pretending to be a badass that you're not, then whenever a bigger badass comes along, she's going to be more interested in him than you.
I mean, right. I mean, that's...
And based on the way she talked about violence and ambition for the whole series, yeah, if some more violent, more ambitious guy comes along, guy talks out a lot. At least that's the way it looks to me.
And he already picked up on that at the very beginning of the season when she was talking to those two bodyguards, and she's just like, oh, they're nice. And he's like, they're a little not so nice, they're a little arrogant, and she just, but you're right.
That was one of the first moves of him that I didn't care. Or is that, well, I'll try to bring this guy down to bring myself up. Like, that's not what somebody who's competent, which they both claimed he was competent in this episode.
I don't think he was
competent. I am competent. Like, that's not a conversation that competent people have.
Right. Yeah. Well, he said, but he said, I'm confident when I feel good about myself. And that's when he was saying, which I give him credit for.
Well, that's a true statement. That is not, I would never, even if I felt that, I would not share that with the girl whose attention I was seeking.
So I give him credit for having the balls to say that, or to say, hey, look, I mean, I give him credit for basically saying, this job isn't for me, even though I've put my time and my years into it, knowing that she is attracted to the exact opposite of what he's now telling her. He had the balls to tell her that. And then she's like, well, I thought you were confident. And he goes, well, I am confident when I feel good about myself. So I gave him tons of credit there. However, that all got unwound when he gave in to basically shooting Rick and falling into the trap of being something that he really doesn't want to be. Because he's like, the Buddha wouldn't approve of any type of violence, whether it's in self-defense or not. And she's like, the Buddha. So she's totally on a different page.
He calls to engage in dating strategy. That's the way he was doing.
Well, I don't think he was. Yeah, I don't.
This little declaration of I'm confident when I feel good about myself.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, I don't think that was his strategy.
Allow me to have a positive self-image, then I'm confident. That's not what a confident.
100%. But that, I don't
A
even.
little wishy-washy.
Right, but that wasn't his dating strategy at the time. I think he was actually being true to himself in that moment. And then the dating strategy, his dating strategy, his dating strategy was, I'm going to keep asking you and trying to sell you on this first date and dinner and tell you about all these good things, which wasn't a great strategy anyway. But I don't think he was thinking dating strategy when he finally said, look, this job isn't for me.
Okay, maybe he was,
I don't think he's trying to.
out himself, but I still don't like it because, okay. I mean, think it like, oh, hey, I understand you like confident guys. Well, I've got good news for you. When circumstances allow me to feel good about myself, I'm real confident. What? So you're not confident because you don't feel good about yourself all the time. So you're not confident all the time. So that's not confidence.
Right. No, but what he was saying was,
When I feel good about myself, I get to pretend like I'm confident.
Well, what he was saying was he was being vulnerable. He's like, I don't feel good about myself in this job. This is not for me. And that's when she's just like, what do you mean? Like, you put time into this. You've got experience. Who cares what the Buddha says? And so I think he was fine.
I don't like that level of disclosure. That those are all internal conversations that Gaitok should be having with himself, become the man he wants to be. And
so you've never.
I think it was dating. That's the thing. I think it was dating strategy. I think all the stuff he's telling her is part of his sales pitch to why she should want to be with him.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah,
while it may be true,
because he does want to be confident.
It's part of the pitch.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, but I give him credit for at least being honest about himself and not trying to pretend like he was this brave security guard who protected the compound from the robbers. Remember, so. At least in this instance, he was actually, I think, honest with her about how he was feeling. So strategy or not,
I'm not sure. I mean, I do feel like, again, I don't give people praise for communicating truths about yourself in the weakest possible way is seemingly suboptimal behavior.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what he did basically all season. Was anytime that he was communicating something about himself, he chose to do it in a way that was very weak and kind of whiny instead of, I mean, hey, I decided this job doesn't work for me anymore, so I'm going to quit and find another job. Oh, I thought you were ambitious. Okay. I mean,
yeah, I think a lot of that too for me
to be a lot more dismissive of the pushback that she was giving him the whole season, because honestly, I mean, I don't love using red pill buzzwords like shit test. So she was shit testing him for a good portion of the season, trying to see if she could poke him and find spots of weakness. Yeah. And he's like, here they are. Yeah. And I did not care for him behaving that way.
And I can see that for sure. I think a better move would have been to show and not tell.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Go get that other job. Don't even, you know what I'm saying? Just go get another job that actually gives you that confidence that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And
it's a great looking to the girl that you want to date, marry, or be with for your strategic career planning is not going to do you any favors in the strategic career planning or in the dating the girl. It's going to be a mistake for both of those purposes. So don't bounce your, I think I'm going to quit my job and stop having an income plan off of the girl you want to be with.
Would you want to see either of those characters in the next season?
Definitely not.
No?
I've already decided who they are, and I don't want to see any more.
Okay, so who do you want to see in the next season? Because they always have somebody linked.
Gary. I want to see Gary / Greg make it.
I just want to see that scene where Gary is standing there at the foot of the bed with his girlfriend sleeping with somebody else. Is that what you're saying about?
No, I don't know that I want to see any of these characters make it to the next season.
Okay.
I guess I'd like to keep him if he's going to. I want to see him maintain the Gary kind of being sprinkled into every season and seeing what he's up to. But let's talk about the situation. I hated the fact that Belinda brought her son into this dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And the one character I thought that behaved in a way that they didn't earn and didn't make sense in the context was like on a dime, she decides that she's the badass who's going to outmaneuver the murdering half-billionaire. Yeah. Like, I'm going to walk away and then my son's going to come after me and then I'm going to tell him exactly how we're going to handle this guy. Like, she went from being, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm anxious, I don't know what this guy's going to do to me, to all of a sudden just, and look, maybe she has some backstory and some history where she's tougher than she looks, and all, but you didn't give us any of that backstory. All you gave us was, I'm scared, I'm anxious.
Everything, the rustling in the bushes, whatever.
The reptiles, the Nazis.
It was like,
yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm just going to turn on a dime and become this master negotiator with this murderer.
yeah, that was a little bit much.
That was a little bit of an unearned turn for her character. And again, I hate the idea that a good mother is going to expose her son and let him participate in this extortion caper in any way whatsoever. That's not what a good mother would do. And
he seemed like a good son. Like he was like squeaky clean. Like, I mean,
they both seemed a little too money grubbing for me toward the end. I did not like the, we're going to work this. I mean, especially Belinda in particular seemed 100% convinced that he definitely murdered his wife.
Yep.
She was not ambiguous about like you and me have been.
No, and she was terrified for her life that she was going to get murdered.
Right. And so you're gonna mention this to your son. You're gonna bring your son into the negotiation. You're gonna show up at the guy's house with your son. I mean, a guy with $500 million, from the second they walked in to have this conversation, he could have disappeared both of them, and they never would have been seen from or heard again. Right. If you wanted to make that happen, he has the money and the resources to make that happen.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is, why didn't she just say, meet me in a public place? We'll discuss there. Like, right?
Yeah. I think I did not like that development. I didn't believe it either. Her character. So that was the sloppiest part of the finale for me, was that she turned into this art of the deal badass. I'm gonna stick it to this guy. I'm gonna get what I deserve out of him. That was not consistent with anything near who she was for the rest of the season. And letting her son get involved with it. It's one thing. It's like, I'm going to keep this a secret. I haven't said a word to my son about this. My son doesn't know that I'm here. Somebody does, but not my son. So we'll handle this like a couple of adults. Bringing the son along, it made me angry. That's not what a mom who cares about her son does. And that's not what a woman who cares about the right thing does either.
That's a good point. Right. She's got the problem with the ethics of him taking money, blood money, but yet she's got no problem putting her actual blood up for money.
Correct. Yeah. I didn't care for that. So
yeah.
Any other thoughts about the series as it played out?
You know, I think
I don't. Let's see, have they greenlit another season? I'm sure.
Yeah, they did. The day after they did greenlight. And I know
if he wants to do it, they'll keep doing it.
Oh yeah, they did. I think the day after this was released, I remember reading something online. They're definitely doing it.
I wonder what year it's probably not going to be till 2026 or 7. I'm sure it's definitely not going to be this year.
No, probably.
It'll be 26 at the earliest, maybe 27, maybe 28.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know when the filming starts. So it's usually like about a year or 6 months after filming starts. It airs, something like that, right?
Yeah, usually depending on how many special effects. So let's see, White Lotus season 4.
Oh, well, he's doing Survivor, you said. So
late 26 or early 27 is
for release or start shooting?
No, for release.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
So filming is anticipated to begin in 2026. So if they film in early 2026 and late 26 or early 27, because there's not a lot of CGI in a show like this that they have to spend a lot of.
So I think as we have to put on the calendar, every week we should do the episode.
Oh,
right after, do it live as it comes out.
Or we could even
and then maybe come back at the end and go, okay, do a summary at the end after we know the whole story. I'd love to do that.
I could even watch it live and
dude, let's do it.
Broadcast
that would be amazing. I would love to do that.
I don't know. You think I'll still be alive early 2027?
It's a gamble. I don't know.
All right, so we're done with the White Lotus season 3, or it's done with us, however you want to say it, and we'll move on to. I think we should do popular media again.
Sure.
I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it too.
Take a break we'll go back to a book. We're going to do Let Them, right? By Mel
Robbins.
Yeah. So we'll do that next and try to keep it around 8 episodes. I don't want to make the series too long or too short, but I'll let that works. Recommends for how many episodes we should do on
Yeah.
Let Them. I haven't started listening to it yet. You're already done, right?
I did. I'm definitely going to need to re-listen to it.
What do you give it out of 5 stars?
I give it like 4.5.
4.5 out of 5? That's pretty good.
I mean, also Mel Robbins is very easy to listen to for me.
Okay.
She's very entertaining. And I like the way she summarizes things too. So she's entertaining. She's easy to listen to. I think she's funny. And she takes a lot of the science and stuff, distills it down, and then puts it into plain language. And I really appreciate that.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to starting. So yeah, next time you hear from us, we'll be talking about Mel Robbins and her best-selling. I mean, it's been quite a blockbuster. A lot of people are reading it. A lot of people are talking about it. So we'll number among them.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening to the entire episode and for joining us through this journey into the White Lotus Season 3. We had a great time breaking down these characters, their choices, and what it says about masculinity in the modern world. We'll be back next week with a new series diving into the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, you can find full audio and video episodes as anything else that we're up to at mindfullymasculine.com. Take care, and we'll talk to you next week.